Robert Williams from MetalRules.com, and joining me today in Anaheim, California for the 2009 Winter NAMM Show weekend is Neil Turbin, frontman of the Deathriders. How you doing today, Neil?
Kick ass, man. Good to be here.
So what brings you to the NAMM Show?
Oh yeah, well we come down to the NAMM Show because it's like a, really a family reunion of sorts. You get to see a lot of people that you haven't seen in a while for a whole year. And the music business, great people like Marco Mendoza and TM Stevens, who are like a fixture at NAMM, and they're great guys, great musicians obviously, great people as well. And the music companies that we're here to endorse or be a part of, working with their equipment and seeing what's new in the product line of various companies. Obviously Digidesign, Pro Tools, that's a really important one these days for a lot of folks, as well as a lot of other companies, for instruments. And great musicians are here, great people, lots of ladies, lots of fun, lots of concerts. We're playing 2 nights here, and it's just a great time all around.
So would you say that the new album is more of a band effort, more collaborative effort than Threatcon Delta?
Well, that was just a solo album of mine, and that was just something that was put together haphazard. It wasn't very cohesive. It was kind of thrown together more. And this is very different than that. It's much more thought through. And that's why I'm in no rush. I have albums out. It's not like, oh, I gotta put an album out there just to say I got a CD out. I don't give a shit about that. And it's not just up to me. This is not just me slowing things up. It's not me slowing anything up. In fact, I want it out there. I'm ready to have it out there. But there's other people that are involved, and that's the way it is. And if people don't like it, then what can I tell you?
Tough shit.
Well, no, we do what we can do. I do what I gotta do. We're doing what we gotta do. And that's if you're on a record label, I guess they don't call it a record label anymore, maybe because there's no record. CD label, I don't know. But the bottom line is getting the product out there, and we've in the meantime been able to play a lot of shows, and we're playing tomorrow night with Michelangelo at the Black Castle in Los Angeles in the Hood. We played last night in Fullerton at the old Fender Factory at Fender Avenue Bar and Grill. So we're having a great time at NAMM. We're playing out there live. We played the Body Art Expo in Pomona Fairplex the week before. So that was great. We were the only band playing inside at the stage.
Now this is the second year in a row that you and Michelangelo Badio have played the NAMM Metal Jam. Would you ever talk to Michael about touring together in the U.S.?
Well, I love Michelangelo. He's a great, great guy. A phenomenal musician. And you can't really compare him to anyone else because he can do double what other people can do. He can do it with 2 hands. The guy's amazing. It's just fun to watch him. I don't know that that's what's in the cards, but I would certainly be open to playing with Michael anytime. And we're playing with him tomorrow night, so there.
That's really cool for an unsigned band to take a real DIY approach and play out abroad in Europe and Japan like the Deathriders have. Have you guys developed quite a following over there?
Well, I would think that there's some people that know who we are because we've been there. Do we have quite a following? I don't know, man. It depends on how many t-shirts you can sell, right? That's how you really gauge a band.
Yeah.
That's what Sammy Hagar said.
Turnout. Big turnout.
How many t-shirts can you sell? It's not about the money, it's about opening band, how many t-shirts.
I read that too, where he was saying that no one bought David Lee Roth's shirts, but
I think it's a great interview. I read that. It was probably off of Blabbermouth or one of those websites, maybe MetalRules.com. But, it was, you got to read that shit. You got to pay attention to what's going on, right?
So you guys are confirmed for the Headbangers Open Air Fest with the reformed Angel Witch, Tankard, and Manila Road. What can the German metal fans expect when they see the Deathriders?
Well, I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. And we will be a force to be reckoned with, and we will bring all our fury and our firepower and our fistful of fucking Deathrider metal.
How did What was it like being a part of the New York metal scene in the early 80s?
Well, you know, you say New York metal scene. I didn't know about a New York metal scene, but I was part of the punk rock scene that was part of the 70s. When all the punk rock bands were in New York and they came through New York, like the Sex Pistols and even bands like the Police, the Clash, you know, I was there. And I was part of that. I worked at Max's Kansas City, which is the place that, you know, Aerosmith played and Lou Reed and, you know, the old rockers, you know, the old rock royalty bands. So I come from that scene. So I really came up on the Ramones, Motorhead. I mean, I came up on those bands. And, you know, I love bands that were these bands that took it to another place, like Judas Priest, you know, seeing them at the Madison Square Garden with Iron Maiden, and, you know, seeing Kiss in 1977 at Madison Square Garden with the fucking Kiss Alive 2. I mean, to me, that's what it was all about. And, you know, seeing
that's
bands.
where Riot started too, right?
The Riot, yeah, I was lucky enough to be friends with the guys with Riot, and you know, even had an audition with them back when. And the weird thing is, I was more of a, probably at the time when I tried out for Riot, I was more of a Guy Speranza type of singer. I wasn't really a Rhett Forrester soulful kind of singer at that time, so things didn't really go my way. But they were absolutely one of my all-time favorite bands at that time. And you know,
they're putting the Thunder Steel lineup back together.
Great, you know, great people. Bobby Jarzambek, best fucking drummer on earth.
Yeah,
what a fucking amazing guy. Greatest guy, great drummer. Mark Reale, I love Mark. Great fucking, what a brilliant songwriter, brilliant band. And I just heard from Mike Torelli on MySpace. And my sincere, you know, thoughts and prayers go out to Mike, and I hope he can recover, because I know he has stomach cancer, so I hope that he's going to be all right. But I mean, you know, I think Riot's a great band. They always have been. And I was really good friends with Rhett Forrester, so, you know, very sad when Rhett passed away. And I even played with his guitar player, Jonathan Grell, who was out here in LA. And I never even ran into Rhett when he was out in LA. And he was out here for a while, so it's kind of weird, you know.
Didn't he do some work with Jack Starr from Virgin Steel?
Yes, and I actually went over to France with Jack and with Rhett, because they thought Rhett was going to join Ingve at the time. That would have been weird.
Yeah.
You know, weird combination. But Rhett could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
The guy was a phenomenal singer. You know, it's too bad that more people don't give him credit and pay more attention to him, because he was something special, man. That guy he brought the fire.
And you're a phenomenal singer too. One thing I really respect about you is that even back then, when all the thrash bands were up and coming, you've always stayed in a more traditional vocal range, you know?
Well, you know, I'm not trying to jump on any bandwagons or run on anyone else's train, you know. I've got my own vision. You know, I've got my own vision. I've got my own ideas of, you know, what I feel is part of who I am. And essentially, you know, probably one of the questions you have on your little sheet over here is probably about Anthrax. And really, you know, I had a vision. And the folks in Anthrax didn't see my vision because they had their own vision. And their vision was for Scott and Charlie to basically control the band. I was more interested in taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
And I felt that Anthrax went in their own direction, and I went in a direction that, you know, would have been, if it was with Anthrax, it would have been heavier. It would have been more Priest-like, more Maiden-like, more Accept-like. I think they went in a very different direction than that. I think they went in a direction that was, I don't know, they had rap music on their album, or jam shorts. They had...
What was your reaction to seeing them with Public Enemy?
You know, not my job. Not my job. Not my job, man. I don't understand it, but you know, hey, we all got to make money somehow, and if you got to do that, whatever.
Well, I know you're a busy guy, Neil.
Not my decision. I didn't make the decision to play. I'm 18, but that's what we ended up doing. So I didn't have a lot of influence in those days. That's why I needed to have my own band. That's why I was talking with Lemmy from Motorhead. He said, hey, you know, I put Motorhead together because he was tired of getting thrown out of bands, like Hawkwind, so, or whatever. So it's cool, you know. I put Deathriders together. They can't fire me from my own band.
Yeah.
So I give props to Lemmy, because he's a guy that's a big influence for me. I respect him greatly.
So what's next for Deathriders in 2009?
Well, we've got some shows in January. We're playing with Michelangelo tomorrow night at the Black Castle. And, you know, we've got a bunch of shows in January here in California. So it's our little winter tour. And we're going to be playing more shows. We're going to be recording our album, working on that more. We want to get it done. We want to get it out there. You know, it's just a work in progress, realistically. It'll get done. And when it does, then we'll say, hey, we wish we would have had it out, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago. But at least it'll be out. It's not going to be fucking Chinese democracy or whatever. We're not out of our minds. We're not trying to re-record shit over and over again.
I noticed a lack of cornrows.
Oh yeah, well, they don't consult with me. They don't ask me how to, you know, what their fashion statement should be. But I just got my Levi's, man. That's all I'm about.
I want to thank you for taking the time to talk metal with me, Neil.
Thanks a lot, Robert. It's a pleasure, brother.
Really cool. Before we wrap this up, you got any last words for your fans out there?
Well, I just want to say thanks for checking out metalrules.com and is this on metalrules.com?
Yeah.
It's just making sure that you're not out on other websites or other places. And I love metalrules.com because they've been really cool to me. They've done a few interviews with me in the past. You know, they've always been supportive of what I'm doing and you know, what Deathriders is doing. And you know, I think it's a great opportunity for Deathriders to be on a cool fucking website like Metal Rules. I mean, we participate out there on a lot of other sites, but I really do appreciate that. And I know there's a lot of great bands that you're interviewing here at NAMM, so I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me.
My pleasure, man.
And I just, you know, want to say the guys in my band, give them all credit for, you know, sticking with me and being fucking, you know, brothers of metal and steel. Fucking Sandy K. Vasquez on bass guitar, Chris Moore on drums and fucking double bass fucking Concussion. And then, you know, Mike Guerrero, the tapping ninja, of course, who's going to be tapping and playing with Michelangelo at not only with Deathriders but playing with Michelangelo. He does his own exhibition as well. Michelangelo will be playing some songs with Mike. Actually, they did a seminar together, a guitar seminar for Dean over at West LA Music No. 2 in Studio City just in December. So Mike's out there doing that. And then Dave Watson, who's a phenomenal guitar player with Deathriders, he holds it down. He used to play with Hyrax and a few other bands, so he's a real solid fucking, you know, killer metal guitar player. So we're looking forward to getting out there, coming to Europe. We're looking forward to, you know, doing lots in 2009. And we look forward to getting out Back with a Vengeance, which will be our debut album as Deathriders. So that's what's cooking, and keep kicking ass. And we're gonna fucking have Jonas Hornquist from the Swedish metal band Treasureland, as you mentioned earlier, and Ken Orth, who is the guitar player for Wicked Sin, who's engineering and co-producing our album. So we just look forward to, you know, putting it out there and, you know, getting out there and keeping it kick ass. So keep thrashing. With a fistful of fucking metal, motherfuckers.